Which language would you prefer to speak?
На русском.
Russian.
Да.
I passed on information about roughly 10 tanks.
Там-то и там-то прошли танки.
Meet Irina, a Ukrainian woman convicted of collaboration who is serving her sentence in a prison in eastern Ukraine. The facility holds women convicted of crimes deemed harmful to Ukraine's national security, from assisting Russian forces during the occupation to spreading pro-Russian propaganda online.
Irina agreed to speak to us on camera. We're going to ask you about your story, how you ended up here. Do you give your consent for this interview to be recorded and published?
Я не против.
I don't mind. Please, yes, record it and publish it.
И передавать.
И
Я
вы не
против
против публикации?
Нет.
Я бы хотела
Where are you
узнать,
from?
Откуда вы родом?
Я с Херсона.
I'm from Kherson. There was, as they say, an occupation. I can't call it an occupation because I lived there all that time.
Эти дни там проживала. Во-первых, навели
First, they cleaned things up. There was garbage everywhere. People were upset.
люди возмущались.
Russian troops entered Kherson in February 2022 during the first days of Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Some residents resisted openly, confronting Russian armored vehicles with Ukrainian flags. After Ukrainian forces liberated the city in November 2022, RFRL collected testimonies of people who had lived under occupation. They included reports of residents being forced to take Russian citizenship, the detention and torture of civilians, and the abduction of those with pro-Ukrainian views.
То есть вы считаете,
So when the Russian army entered Ukrainian territory,
Навели.
They brought order.
это не было
so you don't see it as an invasion?
Да нет. Я за Россию.
I don't think so. I support Russia. I'll say that right away. I support the Russian government. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I respect their laws specifically. Those laws are a part of our laws. They come from Soviet legislation. You can read it yourself.
Советского закона.
Irina is one of the few inmates willing to speak openly and show her face. Many of the women here lived under occupation but deny committing any crimes. In the prison's air raid shelter, RFRL asked them to share their stories. Most refused to speak.
Нас никто не слышит. Из-за того, что нас не слышат, мы здесь. Им выгодно то, что им нужно.
кто? Кому выгодно?
Те, кто сюда нас засадил.
Украинское государство, власти.
Вы не признаете, что вы совершили какое-то
Потому что мы
преступление?
ничего не совершали. В большинстве случаев здесь никто ничего не совершал.
Ну так расскажите мне, что вы ничего не совершали.
Нет.
Почему?
У меня есть семья.
У кожного сім'я і кожен щось скаже.
Ми нікого не убили, не обікрали. В кожного своє.
Виживали.
Виживали.
Питалися вижити, спасти світ.
Irina, who agreed to speak with RFRL, was convicted for passing on information about the location of Ukrainian military position during the occupation of Kherson.
Да, я передавала.
I passed on information about roughly 10 tanks.
Там-то прошли танки. В количестве где-то 10 штук.
Who did you pass that information to?
Игорю Юрьевичу.
To Igor Kostyukevich. He's a member of the Russian State Duma.
Порт. Фракции. Переписывалась. Приезжали.
I wrote to him. His people came and gave me humanitarian aid.
А, еще вязаные носки.
Oh, and I also knitted socks and gave them to Russian soldiers.
Русской армии.
А ваш мотив какой?
Why did you do that? Pass on the information, knit socks?
Ну,
Well, first of all, it's cold for the guys there. They're just like our guys.
A Ukrainian court sentenced Irina to 11 years in prison.
А как вот так случилось?
You lived your whole life in Ukraine. How did it happen that you support Russia?
я всю жизнь.
I've always supported Russia. I have relatives there.
То вы тогда
Why
не...
didn't you move to Russia?
А зачем?
Why would I? I'm fine here.
But you support Russia.
Мой отец
My father worked for the NKVD his whole life.
бывший, всю жизнь в НКВД прослужил. Я здесь и осталась.
He built a house for me. I stayed there in this home. I even built a new brick house nearby. Why should I leave everything behind?
Что бросать? Смысл?
Most women convicted of collaboration later apply to be included in prisoner exchanges with Russia. In recent months, Moscow has shown growing interest in this category of inmates.
Participation in the project I Want to Be With My People requires prisoners to consent to the publication and use of their personal data. Some women withdraw their applications once they learn that their names and personal details may become public.
Do you want to be included in a prisoner exchange to Russia?
Очень. У меня там есть родственники.
Yes, I really want to go. I have relatives there. I have a cousin in Moscow. I can find him easily.
Его легко.
According to official data from the I Want to Be With My People project, 34 Ukrainians convicted of collaboration and treason have already been exchanged and sent to Russia.